Alright, what's up everybody? This is Vesper, and I'm finally going to do the Nash trailer breakdown. As usual guys, if you haven't seen my previous Street Fighter V breakdowns, I've done a ton of them. You can click the link in this video, or you can go straight to my description of this video, and you will find the playlist there. Now guys, even though this trailer is only like a minute and 37 seconds long, there is a ton of stuff to talk about because we got a brand new character and a bunch of other things too. So let's get started right away. First, let's talk about how the game looks. Like overall, it's had a huge graphical overhaul since we've last seen it. We got more physics, particles, lighting. It's really cool to see the development process of the game from video to video and see it evolve before us. The character models now have this cel-shaded look to it. They're a lot more vibrant. It makes them pop on the screen. It makes them a lot more distinct from the background because we know now that these games have a lot more stuff going on in the background. And this is kind of like a game developer thing where they want us to not be distracted by all the extra detail that we see and keep our eyes glued to what is actually important. And this result makes the game look really great in my opinion. We can see a lot more interaction with the physics now. We can see that Ryu and Chun-Li, their clothing is all moving when they're doing their attacks, when they're getting hit. Even Ryu's headband is moving, man. They even added jiggle physics to Chun-Li. Shoutouts to jiggle physics. It's not exactly perfect, as you guys can see right here. Maybe they can get some help from their boys at Team Ninja. Zing! Anyways, let's talk about the lighting now. We can see there's a huge improvement to all the lighting on all the special attacks. We can see inside the restaurant, there's that red kind of hue from all the lamps in there. It looks really great, and especially since the stage is at nighttime. We can see Ryu more lighting on his Ultra when he's doing his fireball. And you can notice the screen darken a little bit too when they do their Ultras. Last thing I should mention is they added people now to the background of this stage. So now the city looks a lot more alive. We actually have people sitting down in the restaurant like they should be. The only thing I don't like is they have this cartoony look like they did in Street Fighter 4. And I understand it from a game developer standpoint where they want to make the main character models more distinct from the background of the stage. But they just, I don't know man, their height, everything just looks off. It just looks so, it looks like they're aliens compared to like Ryu and Chun-Li. It's really weird, but like I said, it's just an art style. Alright, let's get right into the gameplay now. Let's start with the first two clips with Ryu and Chun-Li before it even introduces Nash. So right away before Chun-Li even begins her little combo, we see something out of the ordinary. We see her do this huge jump towards Ryu, and it's way further than what we've seen before. Now the first thing that went through my head is that this is a high jump, and it's been introduced in previous games like Third Strike for example, so it's nothing out of the ordinary. But I don't know, there's something weird about this because usually the way jumps work in Street Fighter games is that the amount of distance the character travels to the apex of their jump is the same amount of distance they travel when they start descending as well. But in this clip it shows Chun-Li traveling so far before she reaches her max height, and then she drops almost straight down. So there's three possibilities on what this could be. The first possibility is that this is just Chun-Li's new jump arc. She now has a crazy jump. The second possibility is that there's high jumps now in Street Fighter V, so they give us more options to close the distance. I wouldn't really be surprised. The third possibility is that this is just movie magic and it's just something they put in the trailer for kicks and giggles. But I don't know man, because you can actually see the puff of smoke where Chun-Li leaves the ground, so I don't really know if this is just like two clips put into one kind of thing. It seems unlikely, but for now I think that this is just a high jump. You can input by going down to up. Let me know what you guys think about this. Now for the combo itself, we see her do a jumping hard kick into a crouching light punch, into a crouching medium kick, into an EX spinning bird kick. But we see that her crouching light punch animation has actually changed from when we last seen it. It's more in line with her third strike animation of her crouching light punch. I'm not really sure why they changed it, I guess they didn't like it, but I'll show a side-by-side screenshot so you guys see what it looked like before. So we can see that Capcom has already used some placeholder animations for some of the moves, and I'm curious to see what other things they've changed as well. Moving on to the second clip now with Ryu doing a combo on Chun-Li. He does a jumping hard punch into a standing medium punch, into a crouching medium kick, into an EX fireball. And as a lot of you guys have pointed out, they did indeed change Ryu's crouching medium kick animation. It's now back to the old traditional style of Ryu's crouching medium kick where it's more low profile and it seems like the range is a little longer too. Once again, I'll show you guys a side-by-side screenshot of what it looked like before, where Ryu was like putting on a pair of pants or something, or putting on a new pair of socks. Alright, so let's get started on Nash. We can see it looks a lot different now in this game. He's got this whole Franken Nash thing going on here, so it looks like he was severely damaged or he was revived and he died before. Something along those lines that is hinting, but let's not get too much into that. We can also see he's not wearing his ankle pants anymore. He's wearing like slightly different clothes, slightly different colors. So let's get started on his jump arc here. We can't see too much on what his jump actually looks like because we only have so much footage. But assuming, like I said, the distance that you travel when you reach the height of your jump, the max height, is usually the same when you're descending. So it looks like he kind of has like this aid-on jump arc, and that kind of would make sense if he's like a zoning-like character, and since he can close the gap so much with just his teleport alone. So let's go through all his normal attacks now. They're actually pretty easy to figure out which one was which, but if there's something I'm unsure of, I'll let you guys know. Alright, so what you guys are looking at is Nash's Crouching Light Punch. It's one of his quickest attacks, and it's definitely a Crouching Light Punch. It looks similar, if not the same, in his previous fighting games. Next up, we have Nash's Crouching Medium Punch. We can see you can special cancel out of it, and still nothing too crazy. Moving on to Nash's Crouching Hard Kick, we actually don't have any footage of his Crouching Hard Punch, but here it is, and it still looks very similar to his previous fighting games once again. Okay, so let's move on to jumping attacks now. This is Nash's Jumping Hard Punch. We can see it's actually a lot different animation, and it's got crazy horizontal range. This looks like a really good normal. And this is what it looked like before, and I'll show you guys a snapshot from his Street Fighter Alpha 3 Jumping Hard Punch here. And we can see he used to do this kind of chop. Next up, we have Nash's Jumping Hard Kick, and it looks exactly like it did in his previous fighting games. So nothing changed here. Alright, let's do standing attacks now. Now what you guys are seeing is two different attacks, but I think it's a double hitting normal. This is the only normal attack I'm not 100% on, but I think it's Nash's Standing Medium Punch, and it does 2 hits. Because when you go frame by frame, he doesn't go back to neutral when he's doing them. The other possibility is that it's a target combo, but either way, it gives him enough time to buffer his charge attacks if he has any, just like Chun-Li for example. The animation of the first hit is completely original to this game, whereas the second hit kinda looks like his close medium punch from Street Fighter Alpha 3, except we get a different angle. We get to see it from his back rather than from his chest, and they've done this before with Ryu. Next up, we have Nash's Standing Hard Punch. There's no way this could be a Standing Light Punch, and it looks like it hits a little too hard to be a Standing Medium Punch, so this is my guess. We can see the range isn't that far, but you can special cancel from it, so it looks like just combo filler. Now we have what I assume to be Standing Medium Kick. This is another original animation, and once again it looks pretty combo filler. The range doesn't seem to be that far, but it does look like it inflicts a lot of hit stun. Finally, we have his Standing Hard Kick. Now this is the animation of his command normal in his previous fighting games where you hold back and you press hard kick or forward. And the difference is here though that it doesn't seem like it moves him forward. So that's why I say it's the Standing Hard Kick and not his command normal. One thing I should mention, guys, is that Capcom has submitted some pictures after the trailer that don't belong to the trailer. And one of these pictures shows Nash doing his spinning back fist. So I would assume that this is his forward hard punch like in his previous games. Alright, let's get to the good stuff now. Let's look at his special moves. Right now we're looking at his Sonic Boom. We only see him throw it once in this video, but we can see he still throws it with one arm just like he traditionally does, and it's going pretty slow, so I can assume that this is the light punch version of it. We know it's a good zoning tool, and with the teleport we now know it's a good mix-up tool as well. Now we're looking at the EX version of the Sonic Boom. We can see it's different from Guile's in Street Fighter 4 where it's just a super fast 2-hit Sonic Boom. Now we see he actually throws a double Sonic Boom, so it's kind of like DJ's version of his Fireball when it's the EX. Alright, so here's where it gets interesting. We got this Crescent Kick like attack that Nash has now. So we definitely see two different types of strengths being used here. We got the one kicking downwards, that's definitely the faster of the two, because that one starts up in 13 frames and the other one starts in 18 frames, and that's the one hitting across. And we know for sure that this attack doesn't require a charge because we see Nash go back to neutral after he does his teleport. And I'll show a snapshot here of him going back to neutral before he begins his combo, so he definitely doesn't have enough time to charge. Because he does like one attack right into it, so it looks like they're giving us a tool to use as some type of combo ender where we don't have to rely on a charge. Alright, here we see Nash's EX Somersault. Now we know this is the EX version because of the water-like particle that follows Nash's legs as it's spinning around. And like I said, Ryu's got the black ink effect, Chun-Li has got that key-like water effect, and Nash, it's kind of like this bluish green turquoise kind of effect. Now first when I saw this, I thought it was kind of like DJ where, you know, he does his medium up kicks into his hard version of his up kicks, that kind of thing. But it turns out that this is just one attack and it does 5 hits total. If you go through this frame by frame, you'll see that after the first rep of kicks that Nash does when he leaves the ground, he doesn't even go back to neutral. He immediately goes to the second rep of kicks, and it's all one fluid sequence. Now getting back to what I said before on how this could be interesting, when I looked back at the Crescent Kicks, I noticed that the beginning animation of it is very similar to this EX version of his Somersault kick, leading to the possibility that these Crescent Kicks and this EX version of the Somersault kick are actually all the same move, and that those Crescent Kicks are actually the normal versions of it, and then we see the EX Somersault, which is him kicking upwards, but we don't see any other version of his Somersault kick, which might mean that his hard version is the one that goes straight up, just like the EX version, and then the normal version, the light and the mediums, are the ones that hit across. I know this sounds kind of crazy, but if this is true, it means that it doesn't require a charge either, because we already proved before that the normal version does not require a charge. It's also kind of strange that we don't see an EX version of those Crescent Kicks either. Let me know how you guys feel about this. Okay, so moving on to our next mystery move, and this kind of looks like Iori's running grab attack, but we don't know if Nash runs when he does this attack. We only see him combo into it at point blank range. Since he combos into it and Chun-Li doesn't go back to neutral, we know that it's not a throw, so it's not unblockable. We know for sure that this is the EX version because once again the particles, but I'm not really sure what this move would be used for. Probably for a hard knockdown to make a mix-up situation, but I don't really know. Perhaps the EX version is used to go through fireballs, but then again Nash already has his teleport to go through fireballs. And speaking of which, it's kind of strange that all the characters we've seen so far have some kind of anti-fireball tech, or as Daigo would say, anti-Ryu tech. Let me know what you guys think about this move, this Ibuki neck breaker like attack. And oh yeah, one thing I should mention is that back to those screenshots that were sent from Capcom, there is another screenshot showing some weird looking attack, and this might be the normal version of this move, and I'll show you guys that here. And we know this isn't the EX Sonic Boom because we know it doesn't knock the opponent down. Finally, we have Nash's EX version of his Moonsault Slash, and this was taken from his Versus series fighting games. We see it does 2 reps just like the EX version of his Somersault kick. Now the first question is, can this be done from the air? Because we see a puff of smoke on the ground, so we know Nash just left the ground before he did this move. So it has this arc to it, kind of like Adon's Jaguar kick. But I wouldn't be surprised if he could do this in the air. The second thing is that Nash kind of stops in his tracks as he's right above the opponent, leading me to believe that it tracks you. So you can't cross over the opponent, for example. Another thing too is that Nash links a crouching light punch afterwards, showing us that the EX version is a great way to start combos. Okay, so that's it for special moves. Let's move on to his Ultra now. Now it kind of looks like Final Mission. We don't know if this Ultra is unblockable. It has a little bit of startup, but it moves pretty damn fast once it's active. It looks like it's just one hit, it snags the opponent, and it goes right into a cutscene. I'm curious if this will go through fireballs as well. So back in the Versus series, like Marvel vs Street Fighter, there was a character named Shadow, and he was basically Charlie, and he had a level 3 super called Final Mission, and it was basically like a raging demon where he would charge towards you, the screen would turn black, and you get hit a bunch of times. But another thing too is his glasses flicker just like they did in this cutscene as well, so for now I'm just going to call this Final Mission. Alright, so for the grand finale, let's talk about Nash's teleport, which I'm 99% sure is his V-trigger. First, let me list some facts on why I know this is his V-trigger. First off, when he activates his teleport at the very beginning, we see the screen turn black and the yellow rain appear, just like Ryu and Chun-Li's V-trigger activations. We also see the particles surround him as well. The second thing is that when he activates, the entire screen freezes, including the opponent, so everything is stuck, just like the activation of V-trigger. Another thing is we see Nash cancel his attack right into it, just like V-trigger, and this actually proves now that you can cancel V-trigger from a normal attack, because before we only seen it being cancelled from special attacks. Finally, we notice that Nash doesn't do any EX moves post-teleport, implying that he used up his entire EX meter. Okay, so since we got that out of the way, we can say that this is a pretty damn unique V-trigger because it's a one-time use. With that being said, this is really powerful. This teleport is fast. This is kind of like a DiCaprio-Wesker kind of teleport. We know it goes through fireballs because we see it going through Ryu's Ultra. We know that there's 3 different types of teleports as well. One behind the opponent, one above and behind the opponent, and one in front and above the opponent. And we can assume that all 3 versions of this teleport are tracking, because we see the one that goes behind the opponent at 2 different distances. One from really far away, when Nash throws the Sonic Boom at Chun-Li, and the second when he's really close to Ryu when he throws his Ultra, and both are right behind the opponent. Now how you would control this, I'm not really too sure. It might be something like Makoto's Ultra 2 where you hold down light punch, medium punch, or hard punch, and it chooses where you go from there. We don't even know how you activate the V trigger in the first place, but we're all assuming right now that it's just the mediums, medium punch and medium kick at the same time. So since this is a V trigger, it's going to use up your entire EX meter, and we don't know how much EX meter Nash is going to have, but we do know that there was one combo that used 2 EX special moves, which was the Moonsault Slash into the Somersault Kick, and those were both the EX versions. So we know that Nash has at least 2 EX bars. I thought it'd be kind of cool if he only had 1 EX bar, but you know, it'd be kind of powerful. So overall, Nash seems like a zoning character at the beginning, but then once he gains bar, he has the option to severely mix up the opponent and close the distance. So that's really interesting. I really like the idea of your character dynamically changing his playstyle during the match. I think that's really cool. So I guess the last big question I have for you guys is, do you guys think Guile will be in this game during launch? Because we know Guile is a huge part of Nash's story, but do you guys feel that Nash is such a different character that Guile and Nash can both be in the same game? Let me know what you guys think. Also, is Fei Long going to be in this game? Because when Ryu gets knocked into the bus, we see this added banner on the bus with Fei Long on it, which is kind of funny. So I guess that's it, man. We're basically just waiting now for the Bison trailer. Also, speaking of which, that little Bison teaser at the end, we see the yellow ring once again implying that we're showing that Bison has some crazy Psycho Power V trigger. So I can't wait to see that too. Thanks so much for watching this video, guys. I know it took me a long time to catch up, but I'm finally caught up now, so that's great. Don't forget too that I did a Charlie Nash breakdown of all of his previous fighting games, so if you guys missed that, I'll provide a link in the video and also in the description. As usual, guys, I'll continue to do more breakdowns as we get more Street Fighter V footage. Take it easy, guys. Later.